Good morning, Julie Street. It's Miss Natalie. I have a book here today that I'm going to read, and it's a nonfiction book, which means that it's a book that's got real information, real animals, real people. Sometimes a nonfiction book can have real events, something that happened in the past. This is a nonfiction book, and the title is The Frog Life Cycle. And if you remember, we talked about a word that means the changes that happen when an animal goes through that cycle. And that big word is, do you remember? It's really long. Metamorphosis. Should we think about how many syllables is in that word again? That's a tricky one. Metamorphosis. Let's clap it. Metamorphosis. Metamorphosis. 5 syllables. Is that what you got? All right. Well, let's look at our book, and then we're going to sing our song again that we've been learning. All about frogs. Ribbit, ribbit, ribbit. It's time to learn all about the lives of frogs. Frogs belong to an animal group called amphibians. This type of animal spends part of its life on land and part in water. Frogs breathe with their lungs on land, and frogs breathe through their skin under the water. There's some really interesting photographs. Here's a picture of a frog. Its eyes are on top of its head. This helps the frog see above the water. Its feet are webbed, and this helps the frog swim. Frogs have big eyes on the top of their head, and frogs have webbed feet. But frogs do not start out looking this way. Let's keep reading to learn about this fantastic life cycle. And then if you look really close, this picture here that's got labels, it's called a diagram. And it says frog parts, and then it's got these little red arrows that are pointing to the different parts of a frog, just like we have in our classroom, the parts of the frog. A frog begins its life inside an egg. Female frogs lay eggs in the water. Some lay 4,000 eggs at a time. That is a lot of eggs. After a few weeks, the eggs hatch. Out swim tiny tadpoles. A tadpole does not look like a frog at all. It has a long tail and no legs yet. A newborn tadpole looks just like this. If you look on this page right here, and then the other page actually shows the frog eggs, which are also called frog spawn. And I've actually seen these up close in a pond before, and they're really almost like gelatin. If you touch it, we touched a little pile one time with a stick and it kind of jiggled a little bit. But you can see, if you look really closely, there are thousands of those eggs. The tadpole cannot leave the water. It behaves kind of like a fish. It breathes through its gills. The tiny tadpole gets bigger and bigger. And when it's about 7 weeks old, it grows little back legs. As the tadpole grows, its lungs grow too. Lungs will help it to breathe air. Here's some other close-up photographs of the tadpole. And you can see in the back there the little arrows pointing to the legs that are starting to grow. The tadpole changes a little bit each day. When it's about 10 weeks old, it grows tiny front legs. After about 3 months, the tadpole turns into something called a froglet. Can you say that? Froglet. It looks a lot like a frog, but it still has a tail. Every day, the tail gets a little bit smaller. This older froglet has a very small tail. So if you can look at this picture, see the difference in these two? The tail's a little bit longer, and there he's just got a really short tail. One day the tail is all gone. Wow! About 4 months after hatching, the froglet is finally a full grown-up frog. A frog skin looks like this. It's got a little picture up close. You can see there's a little bit of a pattern, but the frog skin is very slimy and moist. Hop, hop! Now the frog is ready to live on land as well as to live in the water. A frog can jump 20 times the length of its body. I wonder how far you can jump. I bet you can jump like a frog. Maybe you can try that at home. Try jumping and measuring and seeing how far you could jump. A frog's life cycle lasts about 4 months. Do you remember the 4 main parts? Let's take a peek at this picture. So first, day 1, a female frog lays eggs in the water. After 2 weeks, there's a tadpole that hatches and it grows and changes. 3 months, a tadpole turns into a little froglet. At 4 months, sorry about that. At 4 months, the froglet turns into a grown-up, and then at the very end, it says frogs like this can live to be 10 years old. That last picture. Sorry, I'm trying to fix my phone because it fell. And then this last page, it's got some really beautiful photographs of some different types of frogs. Frogs come in all different sizes. Some are as small as a little cricket. Maybe do that with your finger. That's the size of a cricket, that small. Others are as big as a cat. So take a minute to think about that. That is a pretty large frog, isn't it? Frogs come in lots of colors too. Many are green, but others are red, yellow, and even bright blue. This is a tree frog, a tomato frog, and a poison dart frog, and a golden leaf folding frog. Such beautiful colors. There are even flying frogs. Well, sort of. They leap from trees and glide to the ground so smoothly it looks like they're flying. There are over 4,000 different kinds of frogs in the world. That's pretty amazing. Lots of frogs make noises. Some males puff up their throats like little balloons. Then they sing, croak, croak, croak. This large bubble here, where they have the air pointing, is called a vocal sac. And that's where that croaking comes from. I wonder why they do that. I wonder why they make that croaking sound. Let's see. Male frogs use a singing voice to find female frogs. And when they meet, the whole life cycle can begin all over again. Here's a picture of the male and the female meeting each other. All right. Are you guys ready to sing our song again together? So I'm going to show you the pictures one more time before we sing. This is the frog spawn, frog eggs. Then we have the tadpole. And right here we have the tadpole growing the front legs. And then we have the froglet here, and his tail's getting a little bit shorter. And then the last picture is our full-grown frog. All right, are you guys ready to sing? Here we go. The frog she laid some frog spawn. The frog she laid some frog spawn. The frog she laid some frog spawn. So go, frog, go. Ribbit, ribbit, ribbit. What's gonna happen next? The tadpole hatched from the frog spawn. The tadpole hatched from the frog spawn. The tadpole hatched from the frog spawn. So go, frog, go. ribbit, ribbit, ribbit. The tadpole grew some front legs. The tadpole grew some front legs. The tadpole grew some front legs. So go, frog, go. Ribbit, ribbit, ribbit. And the next one. The froglet's tail grows shorter. The froglet's tail grows shorter. The froglet's tail grows shorter. So go, frog, go. Ribbit, ribbit, ribbit. The last picture. Are you ready? You're going to jump on this one, remember? The frog jumped out of the water. The frog jumped out of the water. The frog jumped out of the water. So go, frog, go. Hop, hop, hop. All right. I hope you enjoyed that song. It's fun. You can practice at home, and you can start out swimming like a little tadpole and then grow some legs, some arms. Then your little tail will disappear, and then you can do some big jumping. All right? Have fun. Have a good day. Bye.